County, when they call this young lady, i.e. the chair of Multnomah County, the chair of Multnomah County, Deborah Clifford, called her a B. And I was glad I was there. I would not have been there had I not been interested in running for office for the county. The point I'm making is that I've served in several different positions, and I won each time. My time was short term, if you will. I ran for governor. There were 5 people left. I finished number 3. But the time I spent going around the state talking about issues, my concerns, African American concerns, other equal concerns. I ran for Congress against Earl Blumenauer. Again, same deal. I had to run in the primary. I ran for mayor. I ran for city council. But my point is that I served in each one of those positions. Short term, and you know what? I really like the idea. But the point I'm making is that had I not been there, that B word would have just been swept under the carpet. For all women, and especially black women. And I was so proud to have seen the kinds of folks that responded, like Dr. Rosa. They weren't just average people. They were black professional folks from all over, people from even the state of Washington. And they were up there proud and made the statement. I felt good about the fact I was the first one, and I made sure they understood who I was and what the issue was of. It's very, very important. So I'm here today to say, yes, I have filed to run, but I'm always looking as a recruiter. I came here as a Marine recruiter from Vietnam. I started recruiting then in the Northeast Portland corridor and throughout the state, and I'm recruiting today. I'll just highlight some of the little things that I've done along the way. I built a senior citizen complex in Northeast Portland. I had a housing program that's trying to, if you will, to create home ownership for folks who couldn't make it. It's called Tri-County Neighborhood Housing. I used to be the proud publisher of the Portland Observer newspaper. And when they threw those possums on that building right next to mine, and we created a march, if you will, the community did, to downtown Portland, I was asked to leave the Portland Observer. That was okay. Because then I opened up another marketplace. It was called the Oregon Voters Digest. I did the typesetting for the Oregon Voters Digest owner. Oregon Voters Digest was the first blue book in the state of Oregon, which I still own. And it's here today. And I do a talk show. I've been doing it now for about 25 years. And I use that as a vehicle to recruit and educate people and inform. But most importantly, I'm always looking for folks who can put something in the front of their name and run for office, to get them on, give them the time to speak and communicate and articulate and identify their issues. If they don't know what their issues are, I tell them, go back out there and get your issues. That's exactly what I'm doing today. So my point is that I want to thank you again for inviting me to come here today, because I'm recruiting. You can Google my name and you can get it from the background, whatever. But I'm here tonight because I want to recruit those folks who are running for office, and I want to invite them on my show. I want you to meet me after the deal, and we're going to schedule you some time. And regardless, I understand something. You're running for office. You got good things, you got bad things. But if you got, it depends upon what you got. The road might be a little tougher getting up that hill, but you got to stay up there, face it,
That's right.
and deal with it.
That's right.
And deal with it. Win or lose, you won when you filed to run for office. Remember. Thank you.
I'm Evie Montanay, and I'm not running for anything. I am my father's children. I'm my children's father. I have twin boys, and I've got 5 grandchildren that I'm very proud of. I was raised in the south side of St. Louis. I'm just beginning to understand what economic injustice is. As I was looking out of my 3rd floor window of the housing project I was fortunate enough to see the last piece of the arch go in, but as I looked and saw the last piece of the arch go in, I would also look and see Peabody Coal spewing its venom from its chimneys, Monsanto, Anheuser-Busch, Ralston Purina, and I wondered why I have asthma today and large heart. In that housing project, in less than a 2-block radius, there was 40 subsequent apartments, and in those apartments there was probably about 240 people. So the incinerators in those projects had to run 24/7. So we were now in our own incubator of dust and particles and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, later I would go and I would build a house right on the property that was the housing project. That's how God has been good to me. You can praise God for that. There's some things I want to talk to you about just as a brother. I know the impossibilities. I believe this. My faith teaches me to be a believer in the Cinderella story. I believe that green and yellow pumpkins become golden carriages. And I also believe that there is a glass slipper for everyone in this room, and only your feet can fill it. Non-traditional opportunity is something that you're going to hear a lot more of. Non-traditional opportunity investment and developing is what I do. I invest in the sure core of those that are disenfranchised and perhaps put out. You see, this is a country where we can have an African-American male that is a master's, and he has 2 master's degrees, and he makes less than his white counterpart that only has a high school diploma. Come on, somebody. There's a language that needs to be spoken just to our people.
That's bad.
And I'm going to speak that language to you tonight in just a few seconds. But my first message is to the white people in this room. You need to understand where you are and understand the strength that you have and understand that your privilege ought to be used to pursue the power that the disenfranchised do not have, the strong bearing the infirmities of the weak. Somebody talk to me. That is what your job is in this room, because in this room with me, and you're representing black. See, I tried to be as Afrocentric as I could be today. To represent my Haitian and Cuban parentage. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm black and proud. Now I want you to know something, that all of us are dirt. Did you know that? Come on, dirtbags, talk to me. It all depends on what you're going to do with your dirt. Somebody say amen. But see, dirt is real estate, and real estate is money. Somebody say amen. So when you invest in yourself, somebody talk to me. Hello, I'm talking to somebody. Don't get me to preaching, because we'll be here all night. Now, I promise you a message for the black folks. Listen, black people. It ain't many of us. So one of the things that we need to do is understand the value in trash talk. Stop trash talking each other. When 30 of them say, stop trash talking. Stop not saying it with me. Stop trash talking. When you hear folks talking trash about each other, especially one of us, tell them you don't want to hear it. And as a matter of fact, take them by the hand, do just like this. Say, let's go on and have a conversation with this brother. Did you understand what I'm saying? You need 3 things to fix the cracks that you see in a person. Super glue. Number 1, go with super glue. When you see a fault in one of your brothers up here, these are leaders. When you see them, make an appointment with them and go with some super glue and some silly putty and some paint. Somebody say amen. Because you need their voices. One of the things that we understand is that we need one another. And we have to be strong for one another. And we have to be benevolent to one another. The power is in us. We are very strong people. I could go on and on and on. But you need to know that you are more than conquerors. Did you hear what I said? You are more than heroes. Somebody say amen. And anything that you put your hands to do, you can do it. Listen, the lights went out in 1960, when did President Barack Obama get elected president? 2008, the lights went out. Now in the projects, Mama didn't like roaches. And if she saw one, we was pulling stuff out the closets, out of drawers. Somebody say amen. Okay, but everybody else had roaches. All right? So in the kitchen, you couldn't leave stuff in the sink. You couldn't leave stuff in the trash can because they would crawl on the outside walls, getting up into your apartment to get, yes, they would, okay? So when he get elected 2008, the lights went out. And we thought everything was clean. We thought we had put stuff away. We thought stuff was not gonna, but the lights got turned on again. When did Dr. Trump come in? In 2016, the lights got turned on. And we see roaches running everywhere. Somebody talk to me. But we got rain for them. Somebody talk to me. It's time for us to take the drawers out. It's time for us to clean out the cabinets. It's time for us to make sure that we don't have nothing left in the sink. We don't have nothing left in the trash can. It's time for us to get out and do something about some stuff.
Let's give our panel another hand because I'm not going to do any preaching because my kids and mom don't preach. But listen, you may not see all of these people, these leaders, future leaders. You may not see all these inspirational people in the room together again. So thank the Lord they're all here tonight. And guess what? It is your time. I want you to talk to these folks about strengthening leadership in Oregon because all of you may not have a designated title, but you are leaders. You are what we have. Let's work together. So, who has a card? And I wanted to call Rochelle. I want you to meet Rochelle Dixon, if you don't know her. She is the vice chair of the Black Caucus. This is my sister in the spirit. And also, I want you to know that Shaba is, am I in front of you, Shaba? Baby brother. He is the treasurer of the Black Caucus. And we've got some reciprocal work going on. I also am the treasurer of his campaign. And we like these treasury duties. They're good. I'm going to let Rochelle ask some questions. And please do engage. Everybody's dependent on hearing what you're thinking tonight, what you're concerned about.
Is there a time limit for responses?
Yes, please. We're going to try and limit our, I'm going to try not to trip too. I haven't done it before, but you never know. We're going to try and limit our responses to about a minute. So if you'll keep that in mind, we have a couple questions we'd like to get through. And if you have a card and you'd like to have a question answered, if you'll please hand it to Christine and get in the box. So this question is directed to Janelle Bynum for a minute, and then I'll open it up to whoever else would like to answer the question. So the question is, given the recent change in leadership within Portland Public Schools, how do we ensure that race, particularly the predictability of student outcomes based on race, is still a theme in board discussions?
All right. Okay.
You may need to repeat that one.
Let me make sure. Okay, go ahead. For those of you who didn't hear it one more time, given the recent change in leadership within Portland Public Schools, how do we ensure that race, particularly the predictability of student outcomes based on race, is still a central theme in board discussions?
So I just had a conversation with Superintendent Guerrero on Monday. And I don't have kids personally in Portland Public Schools. I don't represent a district that has kids in Portland Public Schools, but two things concern me about PPS. And Senator Frederick, you do have PPS, so I may have to pass it to you. But two things are important. It has the largest number of African American kids in the state. Number two, we also have teachers. I represent teachers who work in the district. So that is why I was going to talk to him. Number one, I think that when we have teacher recruitment that reflects the racial makeup of our district, then we start to see different results. Number two, when we have administrators that aren't run off, that can help those teachers work through the system, then that makes a difference. Number three, you